Good day everyone, and now I'll discuss the rules on referral to third doctor. So first part is definition of terms or concept. So the first is company designated physician. This is the doctor chosen by the employer. He checks the seafarer's injury or illness and gives a final medical report about the seafarer's conditions. So, ang pagkaintindi ko sa una is, this is the employer-appointed doctor who evaluates the seafarer's medical conditions. So, the doctor issued the final medical assessment used for disability or death benefit claims. And the second is seafarer's chosen physician. If the seafarer disagrees with the company doctor, he can visit his own doctor for another opinion. If the seafarer disagrees with the company doctor finding, they can get a second opinion from their own chosen doctor. This gives the seafarer a chance to challenge the company doctor's report. The third is third doctor rule. If the company doctor and the seafarer's doctor do not agree, but both sides must choose a third doctor together. So the third doctor is neutral, not connected to either side. So the third doctor decision is final and must be followed by both employer and the seafarer. So the fourth is 120 over 240-day rule. The company must issue a final medical report within 120 days and which can be extended to 240 days if no final assessment is given after this period. So the seafarer may be presumed permanently disabled by law. And now, let's proceed to part 2, the general rule and exception. General rule, if there is a disagreement between the company doctor and the seafarer's doctor, the case must be referred to a third doctor and that both agree on. So, general rule, when the company doctor and the seafarer doctors disagree, so, both parties must jointly select a neutral third doctor whose opinion will be final and binding. This ensures fairness and avoid bias in resolving medical disputes. And the exceptions, if no third doctor is chosen and the employer refuses or delays the referral, the seafarer's doctor findings may be accepted by the court. So, if the third doctor rule is not followed, the case may be decided in a favor of the seafarers. So, exception this is if the employer delays or refuses to refer the case to a third doctor, so the court may rely on the seafarer's doctor findings. So, also, if the third doctor's process is ignored or not followed, the decision may favor the seafarer to protect their rights. So, the part 3 is, ito yung mga examples natin. So, example number 1 is, a seafarer is diagnosed with grade 10 disability to the company doctor. So, the seafarer's own doctor say it's grade 3. They cannot agree. The case must be sent to a third doctor. So, the third doctor will check the seafarer and give the final grade. So, the example number 2, the company doctor say the seafarer is fit to work. So, the seafarer's doctor say he is totally disabled. So, if the employer does not agree to see a third doctor, so the court may use the seafarer's doctor's finding as the final resort. So, the fourth part is basic rights involved. So, right to a fair medical decision. The seafarer has the right to question the company doctor decision. And the next is right to choose his own doctor. The seafarer can get a second opinion from any licensed doctor. So the next is right to combine contributions. So both the sefer and the employer must agree on a third doctor who will make a fair final decision. So the last is right to final and binding decision. So the third doctor's decision is final. So both the sefer and the employer must accept it. And the fifth part is punishment for violation of rights or legal consequences. So for employers, if the employer does not act fast or refuses to send the case to a third doctor, so the seafarer's doctor's finding may be accepted as correct and the employer may be forced to pay full benefits based on the seafarer's doctor's report. So, sa employers nga na kung employer ay na-delay siya or na-refuses and a third doctor referral, so ang mangyayari they may have to accept the seafarer's doctor's finding and pay full benefits. And for seafarers, if the seafarers ignores the company doctor or refuses to follow the third doctor rule, it may affect his claim. So the court may deny the claim if the seafarers did not follow the proper process. So for seafarers, ano siya is kung hindi niya nasunod yung follow the proper medical process, so ang mangyayari niyan is their claim may be denied by the court. So the last part is procedure. So the first is media check by the company doctor. So the employer sends the seafarer to a company designated physician. So for treatment and assessment. So the second is second opinion by seafarer's own doctor. So if the seafarer disagrees with the company doctor's finding, he can see his own doctor. And the third is conflict and medical reports. If the two doctors give different opinions, the seafarer and employer must agree on a third doctor. And the fourth is referral to third doctor. Or both sides must choose the third doctor together. The third doctor examines the seafarer and give a final report. This report, a final and binding, must be accepted by both the employer and the seafarer. And the last is delays and consequences. So if the employer or seafarer delays the referral, so the case may go against them. Courts will consider what caused the delay. And now I'll discuss the last topic of Group 2, the Labor Advisory number 19, Mental Health Policy in the Workplace. First part is definition of terms or concept. The first is Mental Health Act, Republic Act 11036, a law that protects and promotes the mental well-being of every person in the Philippines. So the second is mental health condition, any issues that affects a person emotional, psychological, or social well-being like depression or anxiety. So the third is Lusog Isip app, a free app by the Department of Health that help people take care of their mental health. So the last is data privacy, Republic Act 10173, a law that make sure all private, medical, or personal information is kept secret and protected. And now, let's proceed the general rule and exception. General rule, employers must make sure their workers have access to mental health support and services at work. Employers must provide help for mental health problems, give access to doctors, treatment and support, offer leave and flexible work set up for employees with mental health issues, keep all medical reports private, submit yearly report about mental health programs in the company. Exception. There is no specific exception written in the advisory, but employers must follow the law or they may face penalties. So example number 1, a worker is suffering from anxiety and needs time off to attend therapy. The employer allow her to use paid leave and work from home twice a week. So, ang tawag dito ay reasonable accommodation. So, under the labor advisory number 19, it means the employer helps the worker by adjusting her work schedule or benefits to support her mental health. And now, the next is, what leave can she apply for? So, ano ito yung mga simple leave options? So, number 1 is company leave benefits. So, if the company give paid sick leave or vacational leave, so she can use those. And they are usually written in the company policy or employee handbook. So, the second is live under the labor code. So, if she has used her company leave, so she may still be allowed to take time off under sick leave. So, depending on her contract or collective bargaining agreement. And the third is special leave under the law. So, Republic Act 11036, Mental Health Act, and Labor Advisory Number 19, 2023 encourage employers to give additional paid leave for mental health care, even if it's not in the law yet. So, the law does not force employers to give extra leave, but it strongly encourage them to do so. So, the employer may offer extra paid mental health leave as part of their mental health program. And the last is unpaid leave, the optional. So if all paid leave is used up, the employer may still allow unpaid leave to support the worker recovery. Example number 2. A worker talks to HR about his depression and HR shares the information with other employees. So, nilagay ko na lang yung explanation ko dyan para mas makita nyo or mas maintindihan nyo. So, this is a violation of the data privacy law because mental health information must be kept secret. And example number 3, a company creates a mental health awareness program using the Lusok Isip app and invites counselors to visit monthly. So, this show the company is supporting its employees' mental health as required by the advisory. Basic rights involved. So, first right is right to mental health care and support. Right to work accommodation like flexible hours or paid leave. So, right to privacy and confidentiality, and right to be treated fairly and without discrimination. And let's proceed the punishment for violation of rights or legal consequences. If the employer does not follow the mental health policy, they can be reported to the Department of Labor and Employment or the DOLE. The company may face legal consequences such as administrative penalties, inspections, or required compliance orders. If privacy is violated, the employer may also face penalties under the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So the last is procedure. So the first is employer. Employer makes a mental health policy for the company. And the second is employee. Employee with a mental health condition informs HR or the company doctor. And the third is employer. Employer provides medical help, paid leave, or flexible work hours. And the fourth is all information. All information must be kept secret and protected. And the last is every year. Every year, the company send a report for to DOLE listing And the first is how many work needed mental health, and what programs were given to support mental health.